Hello there, it's Mary. Welcome back to the channel and our holiday card series for this year. I'm excited to show you some tips and tricks with some dies that you might have in your stash or similar to this. So we'll get into that in just a minute, and stay tuned to the end because I have a little bit of a different tips and tricks kind of section. So we'll talk about that at the end. First, last day to remind you that we have our huge holiday card class event coming up this Saturday, December 6th. Kickoff starts at 8:30. All the details will be in the link if you want to check more out there. Just click that QR code that you see on the screen or go to the comments or description of this video and you'll have all the details. We have so many prizes to give away. We have live classes all day. We have guest teachers, all the fun. We hope you can join us. So do check that out. All right, so let's get into this card. The first thing is when I have a die set that has a lot of small, intricate pieces, I personally like to die cut them all in white cardstock. So this is sort of an assembly of what these could look like. They have that on the back of the die sheet, which is great and very, very helpful. But I like to die cut them in watercolor cardstock because I'm likely going to be using some ink blending to color them up. You can also do paper piecing with pattern paper. Just die cut them out of pattern paper or colored cardstock. So either way you like to go, I like to do it this way. It kind of gives me, it's faster for me because I just die cut them all at once. And then I can go through and see, kind of compartmentalize which colors I want a certain die cut and so on and so forth. So it's a pretty simple process for me. However, I just wanted to share that because that is an alternative way to just die cutting all of these in its coordinating color cardstock. Now, I wanted to show you really quickly here, Scrapbook.com recently came out with a magnetic glass mat. The price is pretty good. I'm waiting for them to make a little bit of a bigger mat. Hint, hint, Scrapbook.com. But I wanted to tell you right here, see how these little grooves, the kind of legs or whatever they are on the corners, they're not coming off? That's because I used E6000 and I glued them on because I'm always going to want them on. They keep the mat more steady. And so that's just a tip there to add. I couldn't stand them falling off so consistently, so I just glued them and they're not going anywhere. Now, another thing I wanted to share about this glass mat, as you can see, I'm just kind of putting stuff up to start ink blending, is the magnets that come with them are not as strong as, say, the Glassboard Studio magnets that I highly recommend. But good news, Scrapbook.com now sells Glassboard Studio mats and magnets. So that's a win-win for me because those magnets are strong. All right, let's get into this card now. So I am going to go through and pick my colors that I want to ink blend. I used that piece of tape there so I can hold down some of those cut pieces that I don't want to bend very easily. But this is it's just a hack. You can use a grip mat for that. You can also do it freehand like I'm doing here. Just be careful. So that is an option. But I do have to get my fingers in there a little bit more if I'm not using something to adhere them down to. I'm going to go through and just do the deer's face. Then I guess the muzzle area would be, I'm following what the picture said. You can actually make this portion darker if you want. I've seen that as well. And then I'm going to go back through and do a little bit of shading on the top of the deer's head. I clean that up and then I'm going to start to get the lay of the land here. So I pull out all my little pieces. Now this is an exception. I did die cut the tiny pieces that I knew I wanted in black into black cardstock. And that did save me a little bit of coloring, especially those teeny tiny pieces. I did die cut the hat and the scarf and the shirt out of pattern paper. So again, that was one of the ideas I gave you in the beginning there. And then I'm just going to use some liquid adhesive to glue down my pieces. I am, like I said, following very closely to the back of the die sheet. It's very, very helpful when companies do that, in my opinion, because sometimes you can't tell what all these little pieces are until you look at an example. So I really appreciate that they do that with their intricate dies like this. I, again, just going through and adding all of my pieces, putting this deer together. Now, you can leave off some of these little pieces, like this little ear piece. You can just take a marker and color that in. That's fine. Not every single piece has to be die cut. Keep that in mind when you have these. I know Spellbinders, I used to do their dies of the month, and they're really, really intricate sometimes. And it was actually faster for me to like draw a mouth on or color in the eyes just with a black marker. So keep that in mind too, not to find anything too daunting. There are little cheats that you can do. I'm going to put down these, what are these called? Antlers. There we go. And then look how cute this little light string of lights here that you can put onto the antlers ears, the deer's ears. The deer's, oh goodness. Should I edit that out? The deer's antlers. It's been a day. Okay, now I'm just going to go through again and just add some more of my liquid adhesive, and I'm just adhering this. You want to be careful though, because you don't want to adhere down where your actual lights are going to go. Now, I did die cut these lights, but here's the thing, like I was just talking about. You don't have to die cut them. You can place this deer onto your card panel and then use some pops of color to just draw in some lights. I color in my lights with pops of color, but you can actually make your lights. You don't have to take this intricate step right here. Sometimes people struggle with their hand grips, and this can be really daunting to get all those tiny little pieces. So just keep that in mind. Don't throw the whole die set out just because of that if you already have it. Now I'm going to put liquid adhesive all over it, and I'm going to take out a background that I made previously, which I love when that happens. I can reuse or use up some of the stuff that I have. Now we're going to go in with pops of color, and this is sort of like a shimmery, glossy glue dot kind of stuff. If you're new to pops of color or Nouveau drops, that's what this is. And I chose some beautiful bright colors. I have the green, the red, the yellow, and I have a gold that I'm going to be using. And the green, I believe I used. So I'm just, again, adding to this. You can use the glitter ones you have. You can use stickles, anything you want to add this portion, or you can color them in and leave them just colored, right? Okay, now another idea too is if you color them in with like ink blending and then you add your clear glaze over it, that will make them look really realistic. So yeah, just another idea for how you want to do that. Now, the antlers did go off of my A2 size card just a little bit because that's 4 1/4 from left to right. So I did have to chop them off, but it looks clean when you do that. So it's fine to do that. Now, speaking of ideas, what I wanted to do a little bit different here at the end of this video is I wanted to pull up the options for this die set, and I want to go over some out-of-the-box ideas of how to maximize your supplies. So whether it's this particular die set or one that you have in your stash that you're only using as suggested, I want you to start thinking about what you have in a different viewpoint, okay? Because that's going to stretch out your stuff. It's going to let you use it for different seasons and so on and so forth. So a couple ideas here that I wanted to share that kind of came to mind. One was the glasses. You can put those glasses on any critter you have. You can absolutely add those. The ornaments you can make as a standalone card. You can just draw like a evergreen tree branch and hang those ornaments down. The stocking you can put on a different card for hanging from a fireplace. Bows, obviously, those are universal. You can use those for so many things. And then it's winter season, so any of the hats or the earmuffs, those can be used not only on critters, but you can use them as backgrounds that you're making for wintry cards. So those are just some ideas that I wanted to toss your way because I want you to definitely get the most out of your supplies. These craft supplies are not cheap, and we don't necessarily have to keep buying specific things for specific seasons. Okay, that will do it for that card. I hope it was fun and inspired you, and I hope some of those extra tips at the end were useful as well. So again, last reminder to invite you to join all of us on December 6th, this Saturday, coming up in just a couple days, to craft all day and get caught up on some holiday cards or make whatever you want, have great community, chance to win a prize, all that good stuff. We hope you can join us. Do check out more in the description box or in the comments. We will see you either in the event, in the comments down below, or in the next video. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.